I was born by Moabite parents and named Ruth, which means friend. I lived in Moab all my life, and of course, I worshipped Moabite gods. It was expected of me to marry a Moabite, but somehow, I married a man from Israel. Those were one of the best days of my life, until tragedy struck, and my father-in-law died, as well as my husband, Mahlon, and his brother. I was grieving because I lost a husband, but I couldn't fathom the depth of pain Naomi was going through, considering she lost a husband and 2 sons. I couldn't leave her. She had been a very kind mother-in-law regardless of the fact that Orpah and I were not Israelites. I sensed that she would want to go back to her homeland since the famine that drew her and her family here was over. Besides, she had lost her family, so what else was there to do here? As expected, she told Orpah and I that she wanted to go back to Bethlehem. We packed up and started the journey with her. I won't lie, I was excited to see Mahlon's homeland. He had told me so much about it. Not long after we started our journey, Naomi told us to go back home. I wasn't going back. It was sad that Orpah had to leave, but I wasn't leaving. Naomi tried to convince me to go back, but unfortunately I wasn't leaving her, no matter what. When she finally understood that no amount of convincing would make me change my mind, we kept on. At the beginning of the barley harvest, we arrived. We met many of Naomi's relatives who were excited to see her, but Naomi was so sad, she asked them to call her Mara. After settling in, I decided to go and glean in a reaper's field, hoping I find favor in their sight. I told Naomi, and she gave me permission, so off I went. I found a field where reapers were picking up grain, and I started picking up leftovers after them. I saw a man enter the field. He greeted the workers, "The Lord be with you." And they replied, "The Lord bless you." Then he spoke to one of the workers briefly. I think he was asking who I was because he looked in my direction for a while. I kept my face down and kept gleaning. Not long after, I felt a presence beside me and looked up. It was the same man that had greeted the workers. He said to me, "Listen carefully, my daughter. Do not go to glean in another field or leave this one, but stay here close by my maids. Watch which field they reap and follow behind them. I have commanded the servants not to touch you. And when you are thirsty, go to the water jars and drink from what the servants draw." I couldn't believe my ears. What manner of generosity was this? God had indeed granted me favor. I kneeled, bowing my face to the ground, and said, "Why have I found favor in your eyes that you should notice me, when I am a foreigner?" He replied me, saying, "I have been made fully aware of everything that you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, and how you have left your father and mother and the land of your birth, and have come to a people that you did not know before. May the Lord repay you for your kindness, and may your reward be full from the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge." So he knew. How come the information spread so fast? I said yet again, "Let me find favor in your sight, my Lord, for you have comforted me and have spoken kindly to your maidservant, though I am not as one of your maidservants." I bowed and continued gleaning. He went to supervise the rest of his workers. Apparently, he was the owner of the field. God had really favored me today. At mealtime, the owner of the field, whose name I learned was Boaz, called me to eat some bread and dip my bread in the vinegar. I sat beside the reapers, and he served me roasted grain. What a humble man. I ate until I was satisfied and even kept some for Naomi. The poor old woman must have been hungry by now. I got up to glean again. I wasn't insulted when I gleaned out of the sheaves, and I noticed that some stalks of grain had been pulled out of the sheaves, so I collected them. I gleaned till evening, and when I beat out what I had gleaned, it was about an ephah of barley. This would last us over a week. I picked it up and went home. I showed it to Naomi, as well as the food I had saved for her. She asked where I gleaned, and I told her Boaz was the name of the man I worked with. Naomi blessed him and said he was one of our closest relatives who had the right to redeem us. I told her that Boaz had also told me to stay close to his servants until they had harvested his entire crop. Naomi said it was good so others would not assault me in another field. I hadn't even thought of that. So I gleaned in Boaz's field till the end of the barley and wheat harvests. On the night Boaz was winnowing barley at the thrashing floor, Naomi told me to wash and anoint myself. put on my best clothes, and go to the thrashing floor, but to stay out of Boaz's sight until he had finished eating and drinking. Then to go where he was lying, uncover his feet and lie down there, and he would tell me what to do. I went down to the thrashing floor and did what Naomi had told me. In the middle of the night, he turned over and asked me who I was. I answered, "I am Ruth your maid. Spread the hem of your garment over me, for you are a close relative and redeemer." Then he said, "May you be blessed by the Lord, my daughter. You have made your last kindness better than the first, for you have not gone after young men, whether poor or rich. Now, my daughter, do not be afraid. I will do for you whatever you ask, since all my people in the city know that you are a woman of excellence. It is true that I am your close relative and redeemer. However, there is a relative closer to you than I spend the night here, and in the morning if he will redeem you, fine, let him do it. But if he does not wish to redeem you, then, as the Lord lives, I will redeem you. Lie down until the morning." So I lay at his feet until the morning, but got up before anyone could recognize another. Boaz said, "Do not let it be known that the woman came to the thrashing floor last night." He also told me to give him the shawl I was wearing and hold it out. I held it out, and he measured out 6 measures of barley and placed it on me. And I went into the city. When she came home, Naomi said, "How did it go, my daughter?" And I told her everything that Boaz had done for me. I told Naomi, "He gave me these 6 measures of barley, and he said to me, 'Do not go back to your mother-in-law empty-handed.'" Naomi told me to sit and wait until I learned how the matter turned out, for the man would not rest until he had settled it today. News got to me through Naomi that Boaz had been to the city square, and our closest relative had given him the right of redemption. So Boaz bought everything that belonged to my father-in-law, my brother-in-law, and my husband, including me. Boaz took me as his wife. He turned out to be a kind, loving, and generous husband. The Lord enabled me to conceive, and I bore Boaz a son. Then the women said to Naomi, "Blessed is the Lord who has not left you without a redeemer, grandson, as heir today, and may his name become famous in Israel. May he also be to you one who restores life and sustains your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you and is better to you than 7 sons, has given birth to him." When I left my homeland, Moab, I didn't know what lay ahead. I didn't even know where our next meal would come from, but I had heard so much about this God of Israel from Mahlon, and I decided to trust him. My coming to Naomi's homeland has shown me that God really is a provider, a restorer of hope, and all that one has lost, because he not only blessed Naomi with a grandchild through me, but preserved our lineage for generations to come.